Okay, and we should be back with another playthrough, and I think stylistically going to be quite similar to the previous course. So South Homer Bluff, and this one's kind of more influenced by Landmand, which includes like okay, no actual bluff on the course, but it's a nod to the street address. Fine. And he wants to play some red tees, which makes sense. All default settings. Green is playable maxed out. Let's not. Fairway firmness at default, very firm. Winds no lower than medium. Fine. Let's go with that then. So we'll go medium and let's go east again. And let's just make sure everything's on very firm. Cool. Greens could play maxed out, but I don't think I will. Anything else? Any key design features? Every tee shot is designed to feel uncomfortable. Interesting. Everything is big with focus on placement of the tee and not always smashing driver. Interesting. Greens are big. Missed approach on many pins will not be forgiving, with almost no way to access the pins or hold greens. Interesting. Be diligent in checking slopes and angles to ensure you leave yourself access. Okay, there's parts of that I really like and will be interesting. There's parts of that I think maybe, well, will be interesting to see how they're executed. Okay, Strangy. So let's leap into the camera mode and see what we've got. Okay, yeah, certainly similar in vibe in that you can see you've got big wide fairways, like massive duny area, which, yeah, one would expect with Landmand. Cool little creek going down here that's obviously coming to play at some point, which turns into a bit more of a dry sand barranca sort of thing. Must have farmland, that's very important. I mean, this looks very interesting. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. Gotta say, the contest so far has brought out some really creative interpretations of courses and just very interesting looks, which is what we always hoped for. What else have we got? The odd like parcel of trees here and there. Little, I don't know what that is, but a little par 3 course or a short game area or something. Windmill, yep, important. Fidget spinner green, yep, Landman does those sorts of things. Got the benefit of having played a smallish part in a Landman project at the start of this game, so I've got an idea of the sorts of things we're looking for. Another one with bunker paths as well. Nice. I'm enjoying the look of this. This one looks like it could be a lot of fun as well. So let's go find, where on earth are we? I presume Clubhouse is somewhere up here. Yeah, that looks like it'll be an 18th, right? So first, Clubhouse itself looks, yeah, I like that. Definitely interesting. Must have a clock. Has been the contest of clocks. We up here? We are up here. And some little splotches and things. Yeah. Cool stuff. Okay, real commitment to the grass planting you can see off the tee. Designed to feel uncomfortable. Well, I feel like I can probably just hit driver over this. And that's off fidget spinner first green. But yeah, we've got our heads each. We've got our layup areas should we need them. I don't think we do. Interesting how you've gone. I don't know if I love the fairway edges. Oh, I don't think I do. I don't really get why we've done this. It feels deliberate as well because there's a normal spline there, and then we've just gone shapes, maybe? It's an odd decision. Anyhow, it frames really nicely off the first tee. I think we could... Oh, we've got some walls and stuff in this bunker. The bunker is possibly a bit severe, and that kind of shows off the tee. It looks a bit stretched vertically. I think I'd have probably counted this, but just make the base of this bigger. Like, you've got really big scale on everything. I think you want to do the same with your bunkers. But I like the framing off to the right. Certainly a really good first sight line. I think we can just hit somewhere down here. Should be fine. They do not like the edges. No, that is certainly a thing. It just looks odd. Additionally, the light rough, I understand having it in some areas and not having it in other areas, which is fine, and that works really nicely. The problem is when you're going dark green light rough, it really shows when you're not using it. So going, like, if you imagine a course with the brown, like with normal grades of the rough, imagine we're not just working between light and heavy, and like sometimes it's thicker, sometimes it's less thick. At least typically it's a uniform colour. Here, when it's not a uniform colour, it really stands out where you have used it and where you haven't. Okay. Oh, it's par 4. I assumed from the way we were pinching driver it was a par 5. That's a tough drive and a hole if you do not have the driver for this one. Which is okay. It's kind of what you said you were setting out to do, so don't really have an issue. Yeah, similar to the last course. I mean, if you look just above the hole, we've got slopes coming in this way, down this way, and then immediately below the hole, it's going this way. I think we can probably smooth some of that out just a touch. Still, grass planting looks good. I think it's working really nicely. There's our windmill. So this drive's meant to make us feel uncomfortable as well, I presume. And interesting green. Okay, we'll come back to the green in a bit. So you're kind of supposed to think, where's the good option? Which I guess is probably just somewhere over here. I do really like the commitment to the planting around the bunkers. I think that works well. Somewhere there I think is fine. And we'll bounce down here, and that brings up a cool sideline. I do like the amount of bunkers around here and like what's going on. I don't think you needed to segment the tee shot quite that much. Probably lose one of these bunkers. Like, you still want to allow a safe play, and by all means make it feel uncomfortable with driver, but I think offer an alternative as well. So like a mantra of mine is always try and make 3-wood a really viable option as much as you possibly can, because then that will make people feel unsure as to whether hitting drive is the right decision. Whereas if you make 3-wood really uncomfortable as well, it kind of just forces their hand. That's going to miss left. Oh no, we did get it. Green-wise, I did mean to mention, but obviously I accidentally hold the putt. Let's leap back just a little. This was all sloping really hard away towards the bunker, but it's always just going to get caught in the light rough with how you've sculpted this. So I think either you want this area here being playable green surface, or you want to work the sculpting so it does roll into the bunker. So it's kind of doing nothing. You're taking away green surface, but it's just going to roll off here and stop here. I would kind of not quite one thing or the other at the moment, which is a bit of a missed opportunity perhaps. Okay, so we are now up here. Really enjoying the vibe so far. Yeah, this bigger bunker is kind of what I'd have gone for on that first hole. I like the use of rocks. Like these look really good. The way you've done this is excellent. That's the best I think I've seen that sort of thing done. Looks fantastic. Okay. Certainly not an easy tee shot. But interestingly, the difficulty is this one's put medium as well. Now, this is so much tougher than the previous course, which just shows it's different how people will interpret the same thing. I'm trying to work out what is going on with the pin. So we're breaking away from here and kind of coming down here, but also back from here. I think you can probably allow a little bit more space on this green. It's quite a long approach shot as well. I know we're going for making people feel uncomfortable. Maybe a little bit more safety. And again, we've got a double breaker where we've got a couple of them going back the other way. Like greens, we can just smooth out a little bit to make them a bit more playable. Because I don't think you'd have wanted me to have a double breaker from 10 feet, I'm guessing. Still, really good first par 3. Looked excellent. 4 gets this barranca cut through the middle, which looks class. Jizer did something similar on ours, which I always loved as an idea. And that green is doing a lot of interesting stuff. There's different pockets and things. Lots of red slopes. Okay, so if we play all the way out here, probably open... Yeah, no, there have been, with all of them so far, I'd say. Loads of good. I might like the grasses on the right just broken up with something slightly different. So it's not all like just a sunken tree or something. A little different, but it looks really good. Okay, 5 iron I think is probably the play into the backstop. I really like this hole though. That barranca looks great. I think particularly if you turn it round. Yeah, so you get all the shadow. Definitely got the scale. I think the bunkers maybe not quite to scale in places, but most of it absolutely excellent. Oh, that's not the place to miss. As long as we go somewhere up there, we should end up close-ish, I think. It can't stop there. Game. Frustrating. Still. Bogey probably fair after that approach shot. Okay, we get back-to-back 5. Love the look of this one. The bunker path coming over the hill maybe looks a little bit awkward. Would have probably seen whether we do we need that at all. And it ends in this. I don't really get this, because it's clearly a manufactured path that's designed for carts, and that you can also see how the narrowness of the spline is making things a bit tricky here. So given that it's manufactured, why would it have this at the end? I don't think it makes a huge amount of sense. I do like that we've got the dog leg around these trees as well, though. I think that looks great. Just would have loved to have bitten into this hill a little bit more, maybe sunk another big bunker into it instead. That you're kind of cutting over the corner off would look great. Well, we'll make the fairway at least. And then we've got elevated green surrounded by lots of bunkers. Just feel the light rough around the bunkers isn't quite working for me. I'm not sure why it is where it is. Like the fact that it's looping just around these bunkers, like why would you have this be heavy rough? And if you are, maybe you plant it, or you make all of this light rough. Just I don't know. That's the bit that doesn't feel like it's quite making so much sense. Right, where do we want to be? Go on, bounce up. Oh, that went so much better than I thought it would do. Love the little groves of trees behind here. That looks really good. We're on another little double breaker, but I don't mind this one so much because it's clearly all folding down into that little pocket. There we go. And you see the grass work in the back looks really, really good. Okay, so we're now playing down towards where we were on 2. So that's 3 as well. And we've got the little barranca cutting across. I guess it would have been impossible to make that visible. I think you could have possibly opened up the view to the bridge a touch more. Hard to know. Okay. Par 5. Why? I don't think of what this bit's doing either. There's just some surfacing choices that I don't really understand here. Well, we're not going for that, which means we're probably making this a 3-shot hole, and I think I'm playing somewhere out here to pitch up the green. So that's it's all good. It's a really interesting hole. I probably would have liked that barranca a bit more carryable, but I guess it probably is in different wind conditions. Somewhere down there again. I might have liked a little bit more in that area, so if I just leap out here. Because if you have laid up, then that second shot gets a little straightforward. I might have liked a bunker dug in somewhere around here, or the fairway choking down, but allowing you more space out here and kind of dividing your layup zone a little bit, or giving us something to think about. I'm really enjoying the windmill positioning, I think. It seems like a silly thing to like, but it does feel like something that overlooks the course and isn't just a prop, for lack of a better word. That's good. Because whereas the previous par 5 was more a try and hit at it and see if you can hold that here, that one's more of a thinking hole. So therefore I think if you have that strategic bunkering short of the layup zone or short of the green, that would add to that. Okay, now I have a couple of 4s in the par 3 to close up the front 9. This works nicely as a green site. So if we go this side, we get a better angle. But with the pin back there, I feel like I can play out here and that's fine. Or we just hit into the bunker. Or light rough. Yeah, the scale looking down there is really good. Like, you've gone big with the hillsides, and this works really nicely. There we go, just about holds on. Another, like, little double breaker. We've got bead going this way, bead going this way, going this way. Just again, we can tidy the stuff up. It takes a while, but it's worth doing. And it doesn't really make a difference, but when you start seeing it, you'll see it kind of everywhere. I might have made this a touch wider, because I'm not sure it can really hold very many balls, and when it does, it's probably ricocheting off here anyway. I like the green complex. I presume this is one where you'd want us checking where the pin is before we go. If it's back end of the green, you play out right. If it's near the front, I guess it doesn't matter so much. Probably for this pin, it's the one where you want to go down. You're encouraged to go that way, but actually I still think this is just a better tee shot, or an easier tee shot to pull off, so we're going to hit somewhere down here. Because there's an ocean of fairway and I can't really go too far wrong. And that little slope should take us a bit closer. Yeah. We do. They're always fun. Not always. It has to like fit with the course idea. Got lazy with the putt. It does have to fit with the course idea and like make some sense, but I think that works nicely. Really strong first 8 holes. Par 3 to take us not back. Oh, okay, we're out the far side somewhere at the moment. I lost my bearings a little bit. Where's our windmill? Managed to lose the windmill as well. Oh, it's over there. Yeah, we're kind of the far side of the property, aren't we? Really good looking par 3. All sorts of interesting contouring. I'd be intrigued to know where your 4 pin positions are here. I'm going to assume one there, one middle. And I would probably have one here. I would be concerned if we had one up here. I'd be very concerned if we have one here. Ah, I've enjoyed it. And it'll be on the VOD. And I had duckers just before yours, so it's very similar. It's really interesting to see similar ideas, but with slightly different takes. And different inspirations. I'm loving how this one's framed. I think you've given a load of space to it. Works really nicely. Might try and just work in a couple of other different grasses. I felt when we did the Kegman project, whatever we called that in the end, Keg Farm, I think, a couple of little green or highlight bits of grasses in and around made a big difference to just it feeling a little fresher in places. But minor thing. But yeah, I'm loving it. This is a long par 3, looks really good. Somewhere up there, and hopefully it funnels down. Yeah. Not too bad. Far size issues I can imagine. Yeah, the amount of times I spent trying to delete 10 grasses to place one new one. Things like that. So I get the pain. Nearly. Really good front nine. It's very strong. So this is where the creek comes in. I love the way you've done this. Not so sure about the rock. And the natural textures and like the little bits of bunker and the fact that it's kind of random and a little bit haphazard, like that really works. Farm over here looks great. Also the sculpting of how you've done it makes it really work well. Yeah, the attention to detail here is great. Okay, so the further left we go, we know this template. Further left we go, worse it is. This for me would have been a perfect candidate for a par 5. Like, allow people to lay up. This same tee shot just push the green on a little bit. I think this is pure risk reward, and you don't really want to force people to be taking this one tee shot on so much. Just because that's hard, particularly into this wind. And even then, I've still got 5-iron in to this green and death right. It could have kind of been a short par 5 anyway. I think that core Crenshaw template always suits that. Oh, there we go. The very slow out of nowhere. Excellent. Haven't had one all day. Game knows. No, none expected. Really like the hole though. It's very well designed. I think I would have tweaked it to a par 5, but I do kind of get it. All right. Ooh, this is interesting land use. And that is a sizable green. I really like this one as well. I think the last 2 holes have been a real step up. And not that I didn't like the front nine, but this feels much more unique, these 2 holes. I don't know if I've got... Is that the club? I think so. I think the only thing I have here is it's pretty much a forced carry all the way. It's a very penal par 4. It is forced carry all the way because of where you put the fairway, and it makes sense and it's really interesting. But by putting the green up here and the fairway around here, if you chuck the fairway the green down here, less so. But I don't know, if you're out of position off the tee, you've not got much of a chance of getting back on this hole, I don't think. Oh, let's just go way left. Let's get off the green. Thank you. What holes were those? I played those. Oh yeah, that's 9 and 10. Okay, so working back up that ridge line. Nice. Oh, that was a pitch shot. Did not realise that. Oh, worked out. One of those where you're expecting a chip and suddenly it flies out way higher. Okay, 12. Back toward that barranca, which you can possibly clear, not today. Feels like the greens are getting bigger as we go. Yeah, I think I'm kind of having to hit 3-wood really. But if I go out here, I maybe get a bit more of a backstop. It should just bring it around pretty nicely. Up 27. Quite a long way up. Ugh. Didn't get all of it. Let's have a little look more at this green. Yeah. I think similar to how we've done some of the ones earlier, I'd be curious whether you're wanting this to run off and just stop around about here or keep running. So I think red slopes running off the green, it's always a bit of a warning sign if you see them melting into like green or yellow at the bottom, because it's generally going to slow down there and just deposit the ball at the bottom. Whereas I would rather generally that you give more green space and then when they hit the runoff they keep going. Because I think that adds a more interesting recovery shot than just chipping up to the top of the slope. From here, you have to factor more in. Just a little one. But we'll find out if we ever roll off those. Ah, boo. Didn't hit it. Okay. Shorter par 4. You could potentially get on, I would imagine. I don't think I'm ever not taking this side on. So we're always going to get kind of funneled back. This is the other thing, with the greens being really big, it's, I'm going to say it's harder to make the angles matter, because it isn't, but it means you're almost always going to hit the green. So like, it might have been cool here to play with the, here's your one, or like a really small green, because you've done smaller greens elsewhere. It would have fitted with the concept. I think having a giant green there maybe makes it a little less forgiving off the tee. Love the look of this one. Yeah, I think pins back there will look all sorts of fun. One thing I might have tried to do would be to try to make this, let's see if I can grab it. Here we go. Like, you see this line looks really, really flat. If you try and raise it up a little bit here, because you've got a load of rough to play with, like you can raise up and then drop down so the green surface is still flat. But like raising up a bit here, lowering here, anything to make it not look like a horizontal line would be really good, I think. Fun pin here though, and then we've got one there, and one over there, I assume. I think this contour also, you could use something here mounded up to make it blend in a little bit more and feel a little more natural than it is. I know Landman by its very nature is made it is man-made, but you want to tie those man-made features in and try and make them seem as natural as possible. That said, I also really like this little bunker down here, which is great commitment because very few people are seeing that. And you're only kind of glancing at it over there, and it would have been very easy to not have that. And yet when you see it, that adds a lot to this hole. Right, stop talking and headshot. Also love that bunker just to the right of the green that we're doubtless going to end up in now. Oh, not quite. Oh, there's our clubhouse. Really cool par 3 again. Okay. So hogs back with the bunker built in. This bunker feels a little bit awkward. It's either a sizing issue or a sculpting issue or both. I think it is a bit of both. That's because the fairway runs away from here as well. And it's just kind of rising up to meet it and then dropping back down. It's that low side that's a little bit tricky. And it's kind of the shape as well, because you can see how these ones are kind of guiding your eye this way and that one fights the other way. There's a little bit of each. Now that said... Oh. Okay. Okay. We do not want to go long. Wow. Drive somewhere over there should be fine. That little hogsback should run us round a touch. Puts into a good position. And then this one is very much all carry. Similar thing with the horizontal line here of the bunker. Like the more you can make that go high, probably here, down to low there, and probably a bit more diagonal as well. I think having the screen a little bit more on the diagonal would definitely help with the tee shot, because I'm taking on this bunker no matter what. It would be quite nice to have it diagonal down here, green going more that sort of axis, and then if you do cut off the corner on the tee shot and succeed, then you've got that bit of an angle. And then you could also have a little bunker string coming in out from here as well, which would lead quite nicely into that other one. Because as is those 3 bunkers, we can just about clock those 2 on the right, but you can see that little one there we can't quite see. It does, and it is. Oh, didn't get this. Got a slow out of nowhere. Had 2 when I've really not wanted them. That we will take. The view over that farmland is great. Really cool high point to get to. Love it. Just an awesome green site. Fun little pin in a pocket as well. Bob wedge flop it is. That classic links shot. Oh, I've got no idea how much this bead just under my feet is doing. Yeah, that's about right. Great view from there. Ooh, back to some water. I'm loving the way you when you have brought the water in. I think it's made a really big difference. Cute little house down there as well. Okay, and this one, we definitely want to be as far left as possible to open that up a bit. Okay. Strap in. Nope. I will say I'm getting a little bit of stutter on this hole. I think there's particularly out to the right. You can see how it just slows down a little bit as we're going here. I'm assuming that's the trees and or grasses. And I'm not going to blame my swing on that. I think I got the slow regardless. I like the little rock, and like for something that's been really open and still a really open hole, having little clusters of trees and items that just add a bit of interest work really nicely. I like this hole a lot. Okay. But yeah, definitely a little bit of stuttering on this hole. Go on. No, we'll take that second double of the day. The only other thing I'd point out is that when we've had water, it's always been on the right, so on both 10 and that hole. I don't think it would have been something I'd have done too much about, but it will be a mental note for me when I play this again, is kind of thinking, when did we have the kind of cut the corner on the left sort of hole? How did you balance that? Green slopes here feel a little bit penal, I would say. The front looks fun. Down to there looks fun. I just wouldn't. If you've wrapped a bunker in here, I think it's generally good practice to try to have the back raised so that you're allowing people. Essentially, you're not just requiring the perfect shot, you're allowing people to play a little bit away from it and still end up with a decent putt, rather than if I miss down here, then I'm putting up and then down a slope. Another really good looking par 3 though. Ugh. Yeah, there we go. And like, it's not a bad shot, and I don't mind having a tough putt. As a result, and that's an awful putt, didn't get over. Come on, go back to even. And even we go. It's certainly tougher than Ducker's course. I shot 12 under on Ducker's before yours, so slightly different. Okay, and here's the kind of cut the corner on the left one, and all of that danger here, whereas you can play out to the right and then pushing it. This is a good finishing hole. I like this a lot. Just cleared that last bunker. Yeah, I really like this. I do think one thing that seems like a fairly consistent theme is that par 5 second shots they're kind of consistently all carry. And that's something that in different wind conditions, it'll be interesting to see how people play different club sets find these as well. There we go. Love the clubhouse up there on the hill. Just kind of being aware of tendencies a little bit. And like, if you've done that on 13, I'd certainly try to avoid it on 18. Oh, didn't focus. There we go. Level par. Should have been 1 under, but oh well. And that's a blast. I really enjoyed it. I think it's occasionally, there were a couple of holes where I think you pinch drive maybe a little bit too much, but not hugely. There's a good mix of difficulties in there. I think the greens occasionally are a little bit over big. It's hard to do the giant greens thing on all holes without it feeling too repetitive, and certainly that short 4, I want to say 13, was that? It was 15 was par 5 I was thinking of. Yeah, 13 was a short 4. Occasionally that can make a short 4 feel like it doesn't really matter where you hit it because you're always going to find the green. Whereas you can make the slopes matter sometimes more when there's less green surface to work with. I thought the strongest holes, I really liked 9, I really liked 10, despite the bogey. 4 was very cool. I can't remember the par 5 fifth. Oh, no, I do. 5 was the one where it was on a bit of a tabletop and it was that dogleg round. Then 6 was the one that came back the other way that you kind of cut off the drive with a barranca, and then it was more strategic. There's a load of interesting stuff there, and like, interest has never been the issue with your courses. It's sometimes been hitting the difficulty, say, in CC. But there's loads of creative stuff in there. I really enjoyed it. Things that I would look at, just bits of green sculpting. The surfacing, the wavy fairways done with brushes doesn't really work for me personally. Thought with planting was great, the environment was great, the plot's awesome. Absolutely nailed that. Definitely your best course. Loads of people are bringing their best courses for this contest. I haven't played one that I actually don't think I've played one that wasn't someone's best course yet. But that's really, really good, and yeah, hopefully that should do well. I can't remember which group you're in, but hopefully it puts someone else on notice. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Hopefully see you guys again soon. I don't know how many more are going to come out. I probably won't do another stream before. Well, I probably won't do another one this week because we're on holiday. So back kind of 10th or so of July. But yeah, enjoy the VOD, and those of you watching on YouTube, catch you again soon. Thanks for watching.